Okay, so thank you all for coming today. My name is Megan, and Megan Fieser. I'm the organizer of Give Local York, and I know you're all here today to learn more about what that is and what we're doing this year in York County. But I'd love to just go around the room quickly and just have you guys tell me your names and what organizations you're from. I'm not going to remember, but it's good for all of us to hear it. So, well, we'll start. Shannon, you can start.
Hi, Shannon McElroy, Family First Help. Christy Lucas with Roots for Boots, 501c3.
Carol Connor, Junior Wellness Services.
Tara Kaufman with the Hanover YMCA.
Liam Behrens with the Hanover YMCA.
Martha King with Guiding Hearts with Hope.
Bonnie Stick, the library in Hanover Historical Society.
Hi, Katie Garland, Girl Scouts in the Heart of Pennsylvania.
Hi, Susan Green from Southern York County School District Foundation.
Debbie Royston from Tender Care Pregnancy Centers.
Vince Pacelli, Tender Care Pregnancy Centers.
Marta Young, the Hanover Area Historical Society.
Jeff Spencer, Boy Scouts.
Sherry Stahl, YWCA Hanover.
Jody Schaefer, YWCA Hanover.
Marina Willison from the Hanover Area Council of Churches.
Walter Moss, Hanover Symphony Orchestra.
Dan Zaleski with the Guthrie Memorial Library and Opal Feathers Bird Sanctuary. Good combination. I gotta read about the birds first.
Jean Shorey, New Hope Ministries.
Tina Furman, Community Progress Council.
Thank you. We met Brent and Molly. So again, thank you all so much for coming today. Our agenda is a little bit off, and I'll let you, I'll fill you in where the changes are. So Jenny Engler was not able to join us today. Jenny is the chair of the York Federal Fellows Alumni Association. And the York Federal Fellows Alumni Association is the group that is presenting Give Local York. That is a group that is comprised of about 50 nonprofit leaders from across York County. There is a program that was started by Bob Pulo and the York Federal Savings and Loan Foundation through the York County Community Foundation that is a fellowship program for nonprofit leaders. It is a year of personal and professional development. There's a scholarship that you receive to help cover professional development costs for whatever makes sense for you in your industry. And that program has been around since 2011. So what has happened is that every year there's a cohort of 5 or 6 folks who go through that program, and once they graduated, they have since formed their own sort of alumni association. So there's a group of these nonprofit leaders who continue to get together to collaborate, to brainstorm, to talk about ideas, and it's that group that decided it was time for York County to have a Give Day. And them working together hired me, and we are the folks making this happen. For anyone who might possibly be interested in becoming a York Federal Fellow, the program, they just announced their fellows for this year, but it will be opening up for next year, and that information is usually available in the fall through the York County Community Foundation. So I recommend taking a look at that. But we're going to talk now about the event specifically. So Give Local York, for the first time ever in York County, on May 4th, 2018, York County is going to be transformed into a celebration, a community-wide celebration of generosity that will benefit hundreds of nonprofits that serve our residents in York County. So some of you are probably familiar with the Extraordinary Give in Lancaster. The Extraordinary Give in Lancaster has been taking place for 6 years. That's an event put on by the Lancaster County Community Foundation. And in the 6 years that it's grown, they have been able to bring aboard more than 500 nonprofits. This past year in November, they raised $8.7 million in 24 hours. And I've been a part of a group of people over here in York County who have been watching that happen for the past 6 years and saying, we can do this here. I know we have a generous community. Why aren't we doing this? So it was time this year. So it's our year, and May 4th it's going to happen. So our goal for this first year is 200 nonprofits raising $1 million in 24 hours. And we came with those numbers because that's basically what Lancaster did their first year. They had just under 200 nonprofits and they raised $1.7 million in their first 24 hours. So that's what we're shooting for this year with Give Local York. We're doing it to inspire giving in York County, to support the hundreds of nonprofits that are working hard here in our community. For me, the key piece of doing a give day like this, the millions of dollars raised is phenomenal, but if you've ever watched the Extra Give on TV or through Twitter or Facebook, it's that sense of pride and excitement that you know that they're feeling over there in Lancaster, and it's tangible through the screen. So for me, this community building piece is what's really important and why I wanted to be a part of this. And we're also doing it to promote collaboration among nonprofits. So all of the organizations that are participating in this event, we think this is a great opportunity for you to talk amongst yourselves, to brainstorm, to collaborate, to come up with ideas, and we're happy for this to sort of be the seed that gets that started. So how it works, this is a 24-hour online giving spree. So on May 4th, starting at midnight, people will visit givelocalyork.org. They can do it from any device, so computer, a smartphone, a tablet. Donors will specifically choose which organizations they want to donate to. So all of the participating organizations set up their own profile. You have your own page and your own link on the Give Local York website. You do have the ability to select categories when you apply. So if a donor comes to the site and they know what organization they want to support, they can find that on the list, they can search for it. If they don't know which organization they want to support, but they know that they really love animals or they really love early education, they can search those categories and see the nonprofits that are doing that work. The big key piece for this is that there's also a stretch pool available that day. So we are currently fundraising to build that stretch pool. Our goal this year is $100,000. And the way that the stretch pool works is that it is a percentage match. So at the end of the day, when we have our total amount that we've raised, whatever an individual organization, whatever percentage of that total amount they brought in themselves, that's the percentage of the stretch pool that they receive on top of it. So if we hit our goal of $1 million, if our stretch pool is $100,000, say an organization brought in 10% of that of that $1 million, they'll get 10% of the $100,000. So they'll get an extra $10,000 added on to what they raised that day. So that's a percentage match, and that's a key selling point for you as you're talking to your donors. You want them to know that their gifts go further on Give Day because any gift that they give is going to be matched by that stretch pool. There are also prizes throughout the day that we're currently also working to fundraise for. And how that works is specific hours throughout the day, we will have sort of cash bonus prizes that will be available to organizations. So for example, if we have a prize, say from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., we call it whatever the sponsor wants, and whatever organization brings in the most gifts during that hour, boom, they get an extra, say, $1,000 thanks to X sponsor. So we will have those prizes outlined and shared with you in advance of Give Day. So as you're planning your attack for that day, you can identify what sponsors, what prizes maybe you want to go after and start funneling your donors. Say, hey, if you give from 8 to 9 a.m., we can get this extra cash bonus. So those are two opportunities throughout the day to add on to the gifts that you're already bringing in from your individual donors. Now, the bulk of the event takes place online, but the day itself is meant to feel like a celebration. It is our goal with this to use this as a community building event and to really sort of take it to the streets. So it's supposed to feel like a party. It's supposed to feel like a holiday. Friday, May 4th is a First Friday. So in downtown York, for example, we'll be building on all of the excitement and activity that's already happening on First Friday. We are encouraging Hanover and other communities to do the same. Again, collaborating, working together with your organizations, with your business community, with the assets that you have in your communities to pull together events and activities and parties. So for example, Delta is planning a street fair. They've already booked bands and food trucks, and they're going to really go for it that day and have fun with it. We are also working with the York County library system to utilize the 14 library locations across the counties that will serve as sort of centralized hubs where organizations can congregate and plan their own sort of fairs or activities. So the library can sort of serve as the backbone to this. In downtown York, Central Market is going to serve as sort of the giving headquarters. So that's where our volunteer bases will be set up throughout the day. And then at the end of the night, that's where we're going to have sort of a wrap party to announce the final total to really end that celebration, again, building on the First Friday activities. But the whole day itself is meant to feel like this party, like this holiday. So why would you want to participate? Number one, because gifts go further that day and you have access to the stretch pool and the prizes. You're going to be able to connect with donors through online giving and build your online presence. I know through this process, talking to a lot of organizations who are interested in participating in Give Local York, some of them have no online giving mechanism set up right now. So this is a great opportunity for them to start that process. You're going to be able to introduce yourself to thousands of new donors. Studies show that give days like these, 60% of the gifts that come in are from new donors. So because we are all doing this together and we have this platform, the spotlight is really going to be shown on all of the nonprofits that are participating that day. So you'll have the opportunity to grow your awareness, to let people know who you are and the work that you're doing, and hopefully get some money out of them. So bringing in new money, learning and deploying new marketing strategies. So we also, we're building a training series between now and May 4th on various topics. Yesterday we actually hosted one on Social Media 101. We'll have topics such as storytelling and donor relations to help provide tools that will help you not only be successful on Give Day, but also beyond Give Day. This is a great way to engage your staff, your board, supporters in new and fun ways. You're going to get to plug into this community of doers and givers, and it's fun. It's a fun thing to do. So those are all sort of the overview reasons of why to participate. How can you participate? The basics are that you have to be a 501c3 or have a 501c3 fiscal agent. Your work needs to benefit the residents of York County. So even if your organization is not located within the county, but the work you do benefits the county, you are able to participate. And then there is a $150 application fee, which helps to cover the website costs. And I'll mention the website briefly. We are working with a partner called Kimbia. Kimbia builds these giving platform websites. They do Lancaster's Extraordinary Give website. They do this all across the country, so they're very familiar with the process of building that. It's a very robust system. So that's all. We're not heavily vetting. Basically, we're going to use GuideStar to check, and then the foundation that is handling the day of gifts, which is part of our partnership with Kimbia, will also do a check on the organization to make sure that they are a 501c3 so that they can receive the funds. So as long as you are a nonprofit and your work benefits York County, we want you to participate. This is meant to be inclusive and representative of the entire county. So our role as the York Federal Fellows Alumni Association and Give Local York, we're going to provide the platform and the promotion. But what I've been saying to groups as I'm talking to them is basically each organization is responsible for their own hustle. So it's really important to come up with a plan, to come up with a goal for your organization, whether that's a financial goal or maybe a goal of reaching X number of new donors or getting X number of new likes on your Facebook page. It will be up to you. You'll be able to sort of customize, what you want to do with this. And also what I've been saying is what an organization puts into this day is what they'll get out of it. But we are providing the platform and the promotion. We have some media sponsors already on board. So York Daily Record is on board not only for Give Day itself and to do a lot of Facebook Live and to use social media to update people on where we are on that day and the successes as we're going throughout those 24 hours, but also between now and Give Day to offer editorials, to tell the stories of the nonprofits that are participating. They're also welcoming sort of op-eds from leadership of these organizations to submit into the paper to talk about how participating in this Give Day can benefit your organization, and you'll get more details on that as we get closer. Our York Media is a York-based media company that is comprised of former journalists, so they excel at storytelling. And they are putting together packages, more economical packages for the nonprofits, for videography services, for articles, for storytelling, and I'll share that information with you after this event. Fox 43 is on board to be our TV sponsor. They are on air 9 of the 24 hours that we're going that day. So they are really excited about doing this sort of telethon style and being down there with us and checking in at all the various locations. They also have an initiative that's called 43 Weeks of Giving, that is new, and they are interested in bringing in the organizations that are participating in advance of Give Day to tell their stories and to run those on air. So again, you have that storytelling opportunity before Give Day, so May 4th is not the first time people are hearing about you. 1013 is our radio sponsor. They are a sponsor for the Extraordinary Gift, so they are very familiar with what Give Day looks like and all of the aspects of that. We just heard yesterday, very excited, that WITF is going to be participating as one of the fundraising organizations, but they're also going to be a media sponsor. So we have some opportunities to go on Smart Talk. They're going to be on air all day, encouraging people to give. So we're providing the platform and the promotion. We're helping to spread the word and to tell your story, but the actual mechanics of the day is going to be up to you as the organization. We're providing these various pieces of support. So we're putting together a digital marketing toolkit with logos and all sorts of pieces that you can use to spread the word that you're participating in this event. We have our Giving Groundworks Tech Talks that I've already referred to, and those are the training series that are going to be available, Those are going to be a combination of in-person sessions and webinars that you can log into. We also record every session, so if you're not able to make it, you can catch up with it online. Those are the training sessions. This nonprofit camaraderie, talking together, working together, by just the nature of being able to have all of these organizations who are participating in this. Online giving support through our partner in that day, and promotional inclusion. I will note also, we are working out a partnership right now with a printing company. Lancaster has this really great relationship with a company called the H&H Group, who creates all of the marketing collateral that is branded to the event, but that the individual organizations have the opportunity to customize. So those are everything from selfie frames to postcards and posters and buttons and lawn signs and all of those sort of pieces that will be available. I did meet with the H&H Group. I would love if we could have a York-based company replicate that same service. So I have a few meetings with some of the printers here in York County to see if we can make that happen. If we can't this year, we'll go with the H&H Group just so we have the opportunity to have those materials created. But because the event is called Give Local York, as much as we can keep things in York County, we'd obviously love to do that. And we'll, of course, be sharing all of that information with you. We'll be communicating a lot if you come on board this event. So we've opened up a pre-registration phase at this point, and that's really, it's not 100% firm commitment. It's just for us to sort of gauge interest and to be able to pull together a list so that we can share as we're fundraising or as we're talking to other organizations so they can see the other kinds of groups that are interested in participating. We do have that list live, and it's a living list on our website at givelocalyork.org. We have 90 organizations that have pre-registered to date. We are going to have the official application available. We're shooting for February 1st. So the official application is more intensive than the pre-registration, and that's also the time when you would submit your registration fee, and once you fill out that official application, that's when you're 100% on board, and that's that firmer commitment. But if you'd like to pre-register now, that is available at givelocalyork.org also. We also have a mailing list that you can sign up for, also on our website, givelocalyork.org, and that's where we share information about training sessions and just all sorts of communications as we're moving forward with the event. And that's the end of the slideshow. So that is sort of the high-level kind of overview of what it is we're doing. I did have, you have in your packets here, the guidelines for participants and some frequently asked questions. And this goes into much more detail about participating in the event and sort of what's in it for you. So I'll sort of, we'll scan through this together. And then as you have questions, we'll dive into those as well. So as I mentioned, pre-registration is now live. The eligibility requirements, so you're registered as a 501c3, or you're working with a fiscal agent that provides that 501c3 to you, and the information that you provide to us, we verify using GuideStar. Registered with the BCO, your services benefit York County residents, and that having a board, $150 registration fee. So most of those requirements come with, forming a nonprofit. So essentially being a 501c3 whose work benefits York County. The stretch pool participation, I sort of went through. Does anyone have questions about how the stretch pool works? Okay, cool. So as I said, we're in the process of fundraising for that now. Our goal is $100,000. If we can raise more than that, we would love to. I should also note that on Give Day itself, as a donor comes to givelocalyork.org, if they don't know a specific organization, they can also support the stretch pool on that day. So that is an option when donors come to the website. So if they don't want to just give to one organization, but they want to support all of them, they can give to the stretch pool, which also bulks that amount up, obviously. So it's an online fundraising program. It is happening between 12 a.m. and 11:59 p.m. on May 4th, 2018. Donations made or committed at any other time or by any other method will not be counted for purposes of the stretch pool. I will note that the website platform does have the ability to enter offline gifts through a back-end administrative method. We are not really advertising that because we want to have everybody give online. But if you have a large donor who's more comfortable writing a check, talk to us because we do have the capacity, we do have the ability to do that. We're just not putting that out there for everybody because we'd rather they give through the website as opposed to showing up with checks. The York Federal Fellows Alumni Association, I should note, is assessing no fees to provide this platform or programming. So there's the $150 registration fee, and that's it. So on Give Day itself, there's no sort of skimming off the top. There's no administrative fee that comes to the York Federal Fellows Alumni Association. The transactions that take place that day on the website, there is a 6% transaction fee. So 3% of that is the credit card fee. The other 3% of that is for the fiscal agent, the foundation that is handling the mechanics of that day. Donors, when they come to the website and make their donation, do have the ability to cover the cost of those fees, and we'll have that set as the default, so we're hoping most people will choose to do that. But so 94% of each designated donation does come to you, and it's our hope that the stretch pool will more than cover any of those transaction fees by that sort of bonus amount that you get on top of that. The participant should promote the event to its donors through methods of its choosing and leverage the platform and programming provided by Give Local York. We'll talk a little bit more about ways that you can do that you can use the platform. So we have, once you register, you are provided a link to your profile on the Give Local York platform, and you have the ability to go in and then edit your profile in advance of Give Day. So if things change or you have a new sponsor or something that you want to add to that, and then you have a live link on Give Day itself that you are able to track in real time donations that are being made to your organization, so that you can thank them immediately, you can give them a shout out on social media, and all of that information comes to you. Those are your donors, so you have that contact information to be able to cultivate those relationships. And from what I understand, it's pretty addictive on Give Day. You sit in front of your device and watching those donations as they roll in. So donation acknowledgments for tax purposes will be made through the K Foundation. And the K Foundation is Kimbia's foundation that handles all of the funds that come in that day. So when donors make their donation on Give Day, they'll immediately get an email receipt acknowledging their donation. The K Foundation will also handle sending out the official tax letters for those purposes. That letter will say that you made a donation to X organization as part of Give Local York. It will have the K Foundation's information and their tax information. So the K Foundation sends the official letter, but you are obviously encouraged to thank your donors in another, more personal way. But you don't have to worry about sending any official tax information. And then the K Foundation is also who will be paying you your money that you raised on Give Day. And we anticipate that coming within 90 days of the event. So you'll get your final report, which shows you how much you brought in through the website, how much of the stretch pool you received, if you won any prizes, and you'll also get your funds, so you'll get paid. The minimum gift per donor is $10, and there's no maximum amount. We had thought originally that the minimum gift had to be $25, but we were able to find out that it can be $10. So we had that request from a lot of organizations, and we think that in the spirit of this event sort of democratizing philanthropy and inviting new donors and being able to reach a whole new pool of people who maybe don't consider themselves philanthropists or charitable givers, that having this smaller price point gets people in the door. We probably will have the default amount checked a little bit higher, just as a psychological tool, but just know that people do have the ability to give as little as $10 that day. And then just the final here in all caps, we make no warranties or representations as to the success of Give Local York or the or your organization, and we don't guarantee sort of the results or the amounts that you're going to raise that day, and that's sort of a cover our butt kind of thing. So the frequently asked questions, we can go through these. This first page here, I think we sort of covered. The second page, how does my nonprofit sign up? So the official application should be live by February 1st. The deadline to sign up will be April 1st. So upon completing that registration, you'll be provided with instructions on how to submit your registration fee. And then once we receive your registration fee and we're able to review your registration, then you'll receive communication from us saying you're accepted, you're in, let's go. How do we vet the organization initially? So that's verified during GuideStar. We're not extensively vetting the organizations beyond just meeting those basic requirements. It is possible to make changes to your organization's profile after you submit your initial application. You will be contacting Courtney Lewis, who is at Family First Health, if you have questions in terms of registration itself. How much of the gift? That 94%. And again, donors are given the option to cover those fees. And again, the York Federal Fellows Alumni Association, not taking any fees ourselves. Stretch pool and prizes we went over. Organizations can win multiple prizes. So as you're making your plan throughout the day, if you have certain hours you want to shoot for, go for it. You can win more than one of the prizes. How can I help make the Online Giving Challenge a success for my organization and our community? So we're committed to pulling this off this year. And every year, but the success of the organizations is the success of the event. So we want to provide as much support as we possibly can. There is a toolkit page up on the website that will have information on these training sessions. We have put together an 8-week work plan, which is a template that you can take a look at and customize for your organization so you plan out your attack for Give Day itself. We'll be providing sort of templates of communications that you can be sending out to your donors and to your network. You'll have access to event logos and all of that. If you're not actively using social media, consider setting up those accounts and building those list of supporters now. We do have, for Give Local York, there is a Facebook page. We have a Facebook event set up for Give Local York for the Big Give Day. We have Instagram and we have Twitter. So we are on all of those social media platforms. We, of course, invite you to like our accounts and to RSVP to the event. We do have also information in the toolkit about some of the social media suggestions and a plea from us with some more instructions in terms of not creating your own Facebook event for Give Local York. I do have instructions on under the toolkit on how to add the Give Local York event to your page so that we're all working from the same event and not duplicating efforts and confusing potential donors. So that information is available on the website. The hashtag for the event, by the way, is hashtag Give Local York. So start using that everywhere. You want to map out your outreach plan, include Give Local York in your regular communications from the time you sign on until May 4th so that supporters know and they can plan ahead. Pay close attention to the available prizes. Choose some that you want to participate, that you want to go for, to compete for. And be sure to have fun on that day because your creativity and your energy will be palpable and will be contagious. What I've been kind of saying colloquially is that this is sort of a gateway drug to giving. Because it's so fun and because it feels so good, people want to be a part of it. There's a little bit of that sort of fear of missing out and a little bit of guilt maybe as they're seeing all these other people supporting and they haven't supported yet. So it's really that energy that prompts the giving, and giving begets giving, especially on a day like this. The expectations for organizations, we're going to give you the tools, the digital assets, the trainings. We expect you to follow the guidelines as stated. There are not that many. We want you to sort of be creative, and again, the day will be what you make of it. So you can simply choose to, send out a few emails and make a Facebook post, and that's totally fine, and you will get some gifts out of that. But if you want to go all in and plan events and activities and put on costumes and phone bank your entire list that day and get all of your board members and your volunteers on board to call their friends or make their Facebook posts. So again, you will get out of it what you put into it. Can my organization host a special event? Yes, please. We encourage you to plan an event, to partner with other participating nonprofits, or connect with your local business community. We will be posting all of the events that we know about on the Give Local York website. So you just share that information with us. Shannon will talk a little bit, she'll provide some information about what her organization has done in participating in other Give Days. But it could be anything from an open house at your facility, going into a local restaurant or bar and hosting a happy hour, or doing a guest bartending, or taking advantage of the libraries, which are opening up themselves for organizations to come out and exhibit, coming out to First Friday, whatever you want to do, basically, we are encouraging, because this event will be successful. Number one, the more people who hear about it, so all of us talking about it in advance, and then all of us doing something on that day, because we all have the ultimate goal. That's how we get that larger impact. We want everyone to feel empowered to do their own thing, but we're all doing it together. And that being said, we are happy to help make connections and forge partnerships. So if you have any ideas, or you're saying, I'm kind of thinking about this, but I want to be introduced to this person or be connected to this business, just reach out to me, and I'm happy to help you do that. You cannot encourage donation by giving away prizes or free gifts. So all the donations that come in that day have to be 100% tax deductible. So you can't offer sort of memberships or gifts as a benefit in exchange for donations. Are gifts that offer fair market value benefits eligible? So through the online giving platform, we are keeping the focus on dollars donated so that we can keep this event as streamlined and easy as possible. But if you would like to coordinate your own partnerships in sort of an offline fashion, you're welcome to do that. That takes place outside of the Give Day total and outside of the stretch pool. So any sort of in-kind partnerships, bless you, or gifts that you work out are not eligible for that stretch pool bonus. Can we coordinate additional bonus funds for your organization? So yes, each organization does have the ability to set up what's called a business match. So if you have some key donors for your organization and you'd like to talk to them about matching funds that come in that day specifically for your organization, you do have the ability to do that. The first chance you have to enter that information is when you first fill out the official application for Give Local York, but you do have the ability, should between that time and Give Day you're able to set up that business match, you can go in and add that at a later time. So the way that works is on Give Day itself, when someone goes to your organization's profile page, there's a line in there that lets donors know that, hey, all gifts today up to $10,000 will be matched thanks to our generous sponsor X. Now, those business matches are paid directly to your organization outside of the website platform, and that match is not eligible for stretch pool bonus on top of that. So that's meant to be an additional incentive for your donors that day to say, hey, in addition to the stretch pool, they're also going to get a match thanks to this organization. But those are set up outside of the platform. Those funds come directly to you, and they're not eligible for the stretch pool bonus. When will my organization receive its Give Local York funds? It will be within 90 days of the event close, and all those disbursements will be made by the K Foundation. Should my organization send acknowledgement letters to donors for tax purposes? So no, they will receive that official tax purpose information from the K Foundation, but of course you want to thank your donors in whatever way you do it. You, again, will have access to those donations in real time, so we definitely encourage you to reach out to them immediately in some way, whether it's a phone call or an email or a shout out on social media, and then after the event, of course, you can follow up with them and you want to continue to cultivate those relationships, but you don't want to include the tax information in any of those communications. Will my organization receive donor information? Yes, you will. So all of that information you get in real time, and then that list belongs to you. Those are your donors, so you have that information. How do you anticipate this will affect nonprofit development throughout the 2018 year? This is a question that has come up a bit as we're going through this process. And what we can do is look to other communities that have hosted Give Days like this. And what we find, again, is that 60% of the gifts that come in on a Give Day are from a new donor. And other communities that have held Give Days have found that this increases philanthropy all year long. So Give Days do not take away from other annual campaigns or other fundraising drives that are going on. They actually boost it. And again, it's that sort of gateway drug kind of aspect to it. But it was shared with me by the Lancaster County Community Foundation that they named their event, The Extraordinary Give, the Extra Give, because that's exactly what it is. This is another mechanism for giving and another opportunity for people to give on this day, even if they are supporting an organization's annual campaign or if they're supporting the United Way or another large campaign like that. So we look to other communities, and we've seen that it's not robbing Peter to pay Paul, that this is an additional mechanism for fundraising for a community and for an organization. Who do I contact with more questions? For general questions before May 4th, that would be me, and my contact information is here. For questions specifically about submitting your registration or accessing your online profile, that would be Courtney Lewis, and her information is here. And then on May 4th, we have two numbers that will be set up as sort of helplines throughout the day. I am still, at this point, trying to figure out what the heck May 4th looks like for me, and managing all of the volunteers and the various activities and all of those pieces. So I'm just going to ask that don't call me directly on May 4th. These numbers that we have set up, I'll share with you, are they're actually Google Voice phone numbers, and for Give Day itself, we're actually going to be directing those to some cell phones that we have set up that we'll be giving to our volunteers. So we'll have sort of an army of people manning the phones on May 4th. So those will be the numbers that you're going to want to call. So before we get into questions, I want to invite Shannon up from Family First Health, who's going to talk a little bit about her experiences participating in the Extraordinary Give and their approach as an organization to a Give Day. And then after that, we'll open it up to questions. Okay, Shannon.
So are you guys excited? Like, it's very quiet. I know it's early, but this is really exciting timing, and I'm glad to be here to kind of give you a little bit of an idea, get your gears working, to talk about the hustle that we have done the past couple of years. So Family First Health has had a location in Columbia, and with that in mind, we're in Lancaster, so we can be part of the Extra Give in Lancaster. So the past couple of years we've tried some different things, and I can give you an idea of what we've done and what you can do for this year for Give Local York. So in 2016, we actually partnered with Union Station Grill, which is in Columbia downtown. That was the first year we were part of the Extra Give, and we didn't really know kind of how much money we were going to be bringing in. We were just kind of testing the waters at that point. So we talked to the manager at Union Station and said, hey, do you think maybe a portion of your sales that day could come back to us? So we talked him into it. He actually donated 10% of the sales from just a 3-hour period, 8 to 11 p.m., and we made almost $500 from that. So it was easy. We didn't really have to do much of anything except talk to him and kind of talk him into working with us. So that was an easy win and something that anyone here can do. If you want to talk, think about the people you know in the community. If you have a friend that works someplace that you can maybe talk into, rub elbows a little bit and talk them into helping you out that day. So that's what we did 2 years ago. Last year we did it a little bit differently. We went the social media route very hard, and that was me. I did all the social media that day. The really neat thing is with social media is that you can load it up ahead of time. So that day is really busy for a lot of us. You know, we're online, we're looking at those donations coming in, we might be outside talking to people. So we can't really sit on social media all day and try to bring in the donors. So what we chose to do that day is I set up everything ahead of time. And instead of kind of going the real traditional route, us being a community health center, you know, giving health education, I went the funny route. I tried to think of the most funny, interesting, engaging pictures, quotes, anything that I could kind of put out there to get people engaged in our Facebook page and our Twitter page and get them to donate. So a couple of examples. People love babies, they love cats and dogs. So I kind of used that to my advantage. I posted some adorable pictures of my niece, asking people to donate because she's adorable. I used my cats, I dressed them up as doctors, and I said, Dr. Eddie wants you to give during the Extraordinary Give. So think outside of the box. It doesn't have to be traditionally what you do in the past. It can be super fun, but we want those people engaged. So the other thing that we did last year, in addition to this big social media campaign, is we partnered with a bunch of other agencies in Columbia, and we had a lovely cocktail party. It was at a little art gallery. There were giving stations set up as people came in. There were chefs cooking there. There was wine tastings. We actually had some live music on a baby grand piano. It was a completely different event than what we did the year before, but also worked amazingly well. So again, think about who you know, think about who you can work with and partner with to make a really fun event that people would want to come to. In addition to that, you know, there's a number of other things that you can do. Some other great examples that we've seen in Lancaster County, Girls on the Run. They actually basically spend the whole day running around Lancaster City wearing capes. And that's fun. You know, if somebody doesn't know about the Extra Give or know about Girls on the Run, they're gonna look at that and say, what are they doing? I wanna be a part of that. I wanna know what's going on, and they're gonna ask about it. So I challenge you when you're thinking about Give Local York, think outside the box, have fun with it, talk to other people that you may work with, get some ideas internally, externally. If you wanna talk to us more about some things, if you'd like to talk to anybody in Lancaster about what they've been doing, big borrow and steal. You know, take something that you've seen somewhere else and make it your own. So just have fun with it. Enjoy yourself. It's a super fun day. I'll also say that Meg didn't say, May the 4th is Star Wars Day, so may the 4th be with you. So think about it in that context. I have a feeling that I might be running around in some sort of Star Wars costume that day downtown. So again, just have fun with it, think outside of the box, and talk to others and use who you know.
Do you know how much you raised, Family First Health raised?
Oh, last year. So yes, we actually raised, it was, I believe, $6,700, and with very little output. So we did the social media campaign. We went to this lovely event that we didn't need to really set up. We just needed to be there to talk to donors. And that easy, it was, $6,700. Yeah.
What does the partner get out of this? Free publicity?
Yes.
Anything else?
It's a feel good. So it really depends on what you do. You can have them have sponsorships. So have this other business, you can maybe share their things on Facebook that day. That's a great way to kind of show how they've been involved and say, hey, go down here, eat there, and then we'll get some money from it. So it's kind of a win-win situation.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Shannon. I should note, she had mentioned talking to some Lancaster organizations. We actually, one of the sessions that we'll be hosting, we have, there's a really great organization in Lancaster called Atalo, or the Children Deserve a Chance Foundation. They are consistently among the top earners during the Extraordinary Give. This past year they raised $367,000. The very first year of the Extraordinary Give, they were a 3-person volunteer organization, and they decided to make the Extra Give sort of their fundraising focus for the year. They are a college prep program for underserved communities in Lancaster County, and competition is one of their sort of pillars as an organization. So they hit it from all angles. So they bring their kids in and their volunteers and their board, and they literally phone bank all day. So they work through that database, and they're texting and they're calling and they're reaching out to these people. They also got really creative on Twitter and had several players from the Ravens retweeting them. Usher retweeted them this year. The first year they went around dressed up like stereotypical nerds, so like sort of suspenders and tape on the glasses, and sort of ran around and just ambushed people to tell anyone who would listen about their work and what they do. So we'll host that session with them, and I think that will be really inspirational. But again, if there are any organizations that you would like to connect with, or if you're just having more questions, I'm happy to help make those introductions. So I think at this point we'll open it up to questions. I know I threw a lot at you today. All of this information is available on the website under the Nonprofit Resources section, and will continue to be available. And again, you have my contact information and Courtney's contact information. But any questions while we're together here today? Yes?
Hi, Megan. Can you talk a little bit more about the stretch pool? Because I think one of the things going around in my mind is you're talking about approaching, I'm assuming, businesses, individuals, and I think a lot of us in the room are like,
would be hitting the same. Yeah.
So can you talk a little bit more about that?
Sure. So so the stretch pool is really those are sort of the big donors. So we already have a $25,000 commitment from the Powder Mill Foundation toward the stretch pool. We also have the Arthur Glatfelter Foundation who is in for the stretch pool. So those are some of the big guys that we're talking to. It's mostly foundations, larger businesses, and a few sort of key individuals. Yes, there might be some overlap there. We are also fundraising for event sponsors who sort of get their logo on the t-shirts and are able to come out to these activities or to sponsor certain prize hours. And that's really more of sort of a marketing approach. So that really is sort of businesses that we're talking to who want to get their logo on things, who want to be associated with this day. That's not to say that they, if they're a key supporter of yours, that they wouldn't also be interested in helping you specifically on that day. I will share that the conversations I've been having for the past 2.5 months have been overwhelmingly positive. Here in York County, I think people have been hungry for this. People have been, again, watching what's happening across the river and really wanting to do this. So there's been a lot of excitement, and people are really on board to support this. So we have sort of the wind at our backs as far as that goes. So I don't think it hurts to ask them to support you in addition to what they're doing for the event. A lot of people seem to get it and understand what this could mean for our community and for the nonprofit sector in York. Yes.
You said downtown, like the downtown market would kind of be like a hub for you all.
Mm-hmm.
What will you have going on down there that day?
So First Friday activities in downtown York. I'm not sure how many of you have been there. Some of the streets closed down. There's live music. There's different people who come out and exhibit, artists, and all of those sort of pieces. So that will be happening already. So our plan is just sort of piggyback on that and use that as part of this event. So directly outside of Central Market is North Beaver Street, and that street is closed down. On the other side, across from Market, is the White Rose Bar and Grill, and they open up their parking lot and sort of have an outdoor party because it will be May. So there will be live music there. We have permitted Cherry Lane behind Central Market, where will also be an opportunity for organizations to exhibit and set up tables. There will be music there. Across the street from Central Market is Market View Arts, which is owned by York College. Some York College Eisenhart Scholars and Student Senate are actually planning their own 24-hour type activities, sort of like a thon, to benefit this event. So there will be activity going on across the street. At Market itself, we'll have sort of giving stations set up that will sort of be, headquarters there. At night, as First Friday activities are winding down, it usually ends around 9 p.m. This event, of course, obviously goes till midnight. So the idea is to get people to sort of converge on Market, almost like New Year's Eve. We want them all in one spot so they can be there when we announce this final total. We're talking to a very cool lighting designer who works for Rock Lidditz and is currently on tour with the Foo Fighters, to light Central Market in a really cool way, project the totals on it as they're running live so that people can visually see and start to converge on Market for the end of the night. That will also be where Fox 43 will be with us to get us into the home stretch. So that's sort of what's happening there, but we would love to see something similar happening over here in Hanover. And again, I'm all in on helping make that happen over here. So that's an idea of what's happening in downtown York. As I said, Delta is going all in on this sort of street fair, food trucks, bands. We have the opportunity to use the libraries. Your downtown here is phenomenal. Of course, I think there's a lot of opportunities to engage people here as they're working and then coming out to dine and to hit up the breweries, all of that. There's a lot of opportunities, and engaging the business community, I think, is a really good way to do that. Any other questions while we're all here? Yeah.
You mentioned the ability to have a story told on the air.
Yes.
How would we go about?
Sure. So as we start. As we have the official application and we have everybody sort of officially on board and ready to go, we'll start communicating these opportunities as they come up. So like I said, we have Fox 43, we have YDR, there'll be WITF opportunities. We also have, I should have mentioned this earlier, we have various committees of people who are helping me do this. It's not me all by myself, that are comprised of the York Federal Fellows, alumni, and other members of the community who sort of reached out and said, what can I do to help this? So we have a lot of marketing professionals, social media professionals who do videos, who do a lot of Facebook Live kind of stuff, who have indicated that they're interested in going out and talking to these organizations and helping to tell their story, which we will of course use on our social media, but the organization can then use on theirs, and the partner would use. So once everybody is officially on board, we'll be hitting you with every opportunity that comes up to take advantage of those different opportunities.
do you anticipate it'll be like sign up for a time slot?
It'll sort of, it depends on sort of what the opportunity is, but it'll either be sort of sign up for a time slot or connect with this person if you're interested in having them, come to your facility, that sort of thing. Yeah. Yes?
With the wrap up, is it literally like at midnight is when?
Yeah, so, 11:15, yeah, it literally is. So I will share that I've reached out to several energy drink companies to see if they are interested in sponsoring and keeping us caffeinated. I'm anticipating I'm going to be awake for like 36 hours. But again, that'll be sort of in your plan of attack. You're going to want to have shifts. Or you're just going to want to prep yourself to be awake for that time. But yeah, so it is midnight on May 4th through 11:59. In the 8-week work plan, the template that we have available on the website, and after this info session, I'll email all of you directly with links to the things that I've discussed today. In the 8-week work plan, one of the tactics we recommend is reaching out to your donor base and trying to sort of prime the pump essentially, and maybe get like 10 people who commit to give a gift right at midnight to get us started. Because that's part of the fun when you log in right at that time and you're like, holy crap, we're at $50,000 already. As opposed to sort of logging on and it's crickets and it's like, okay, well, this is not going to go well. So we're encouraging people to, sort of get some ringers in there who are agreeing to give a gift right at midnight to kick off that energy. Because again, giving begets giving, and people will, they have that sort of FOMO, that fear of missing out, and a little bit of guilt if they have not given yet. Yeah.
So kind of, just sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So the wee hours. So
yes.
What is the history with the Lancaster or other giving days? What's really going on from midnight to 6 a.m.?
So so the extra give tends to start off with a bang. So those first few hours are pretty intense, and then it wanes a bit in the later wee hours, and then really picks up when people get to work that day. So I'm envisioning sort of at sort of giving headquarters where we're kind of hunkered down and doing it. That's where we're going to be hitting social media. I'm not going to call people probably in the middle of the night. They probably wouldn't appreciate that. But again, if you sort of prime the pump and you get someone who, if they don't mind waking up at 3 a.m. to make a donation, we'll probably also try to scatter some prizes through there too to incentivize people to get up and give. Fox 43 goes on the air at 4 a.m. so that will help give us a boost there. So we're at this point sort of looking at those 24 hours and figuring out what it looks like all day and all of those mechanics. And I'll share too at this point that because this is the first year for this event, obviously, we have the flexibility to make it be whatever we want it to be. Ultimately, it's going to be very York County. It's not going to be the extra give, and I love that. And also, we're sort of all learning as we go. So we're going to do it. And I really feel sort of this year we need to make it happen so people can see that it can happen, and then subsequent years will be much easier, and I'm hoping people will be falling all over themselves to give us money and to participate and to be a part of it. Any other questions? Okay, awesome. Thank you guys so much for coming today. As I said, I will follow up with all of you by email. I'll send all of this information digitally to you. I'll send some links to the resources and the various things we discussed today. You have my contact information. And look for the official application February 1st. You can pre-register now if you sort of want to give the okay that you guys are on board. I know a lot of you sort of have to check with boards or other people before you can officially join us. But I hope you will all be a part of this event. It's going to be history making. It's going to be huge, and it's going to be fun. So thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.